I am Ranju Java, PGT Commerce from Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan. In today's video session, we shall take up part 1 of chapter Directing of class 12th Business Studies. Directing part 1. Topics that will be covered in today's session are concept of directing, features of directing, importance of directing and elements of directing, which are concept of supervision, concept of motivation, concept of leadership and concept of communication. Targeted learning objectives. Some of the targeted learning objectives are to understand the concept of directing, to be familiar with features and importance of directing, to discuss the elements of directing. Students, when you hear about directing, you might picture a person behind a camera calling out action. However, in business studies, the concept of directing is much more than just guidance. It is a very vast concept, and today we will get an overview of directing in the context of organization. Let us understand the meaning of directing. Directing is considered as the fourth function of management after planning, organizing and staffing. The function of staffing ensures appointment of right man for the right job, but actual work begins only when these persons get instructions from their superiors. Directing does not mean only instructions, but also includes guiding people in doing work, supervising the employees when they are performing jobs, motivating them to perform more efficiently and leading them towards the achievement of organizational objective. According to Kunz and O'Donnell, direction is a complex function that includes all those activities which are designed to encourage subordinates to work efficiently and effectively. Thus, directing is an important function of management. It is concerned with instructing, guiding, inspiring and motivating employees of an enterprise. It increases the efficiency and competence of the workers, which can be directed towards attainment of organizational objectives. After meaning, let us learn about its features. Now, let us discuss about the features of directing one by one in detail. First, directing initiates action. A manager has to perform this function along with planning, organizing, staffing and controlling while discharging his duties in the organization. While other functions prepare a setting for action, directing initiates action in the organization. By giving direction or instructions, the manager gets the work started in the organization. The second feature is directing takes place at every level of management. Directing is a pervasive function as every manager from top executive to supervisor perform the function of directing. Directing takes place wherever superior subordinate relations exist. However, the time spent in directing is comparatively more at operational level of management. The next feature is directing is a continuous process. It takes place throughout the life of the organization, irrespective of people occupying the managerial position. A manager cannot just rest after issuing orders and instructions. He has to continuously guide, supervise and motivate his subordinates. He must continuously take steps to make sure that orders and instructions are carried out properly. Another feature is directing flows from top to bottom. Directing is first initiated at top level and flows to the bottom through organizational hierarchy. It means that every manager can direct his immediate subordinate and take instructions from the immediate boss. Directing starts from top level and flows to the lower level. One more feature is human element. Directing function involves study and molding of human behavior. It improves interpersonal and intergroup relationship. It motivates employees to work with their best ability. Now, let us look at the importance of directing. There are 5 major points as shown in the slide. The first one is initiate action. It helps to initiate action by people in the organization towards attainment of desired objectives. For example, if a supervisor guides his subordinates and clarifies their doubts while performing a task, it will help the worker to achieve work targets given to him. If the directing function is executed successfully, then it results in unity of direction and achievement of organizational goals. Next is integrates employees' efforts. It integrates the activities of subordinates in the organization in such a way that every individual effort contributes to the organizational performance. For example, a manager with good leadership abilities will be in a position to convince the employees working under him that individual efforts and team efforts will lead to achievement of organizational goals. It also motivates employees. It guides the subordinates to fully realize their potential and capabilities by motivating and providing effective leadership. Motivation is very important element of directing. Directing functions develops the feeling of belongingness and encourages employees to perform to their best ability. Moreover, it also brings stability and balance in the organization. It helps to achieve balance between individual interest of employees and organizational interests. For example, employees want more earnings, organization wants more production. The employees can earn more by producing more, which will achieve organizational goal also. Lastly, it facilitates change. Generally, the employees hesitate in accepting the changes, but through directing function, the changes can be implemented more easily, as while giving directions, the superior guides the subordinates that the changes are better for them also. For example, when the company is planning to computerize its working, generally the employees hesitate to accept it as they are not aware of the technology. But when in the directing function, the employees are guided that through these changes, they will also be updated as they will have chance of learning new technology which will increase their value in the market. So, through proper guidance, the employees readily and happily accept changes. As you can see, this slide shows a flow chart of the importance of directing that we have just discussed. As we discussed at the beginning, there are many aspects of directing. These are elements. It includes supervision, motivation, leadership and communication. Let us look at the supervision first. The word supervision is combination of two words, that is super plus vision, where super means over and above and vision means seeing. So, supervision means seeing the activities of employees from over and above. The term supervision can be understood in two ways. Firstly, it can be understood as an element of directing, and secondly as a function performed by supervisor in the organizational hierarchy. Supervision being an element of directing, every manager in the organization supervises his or her subordinates. In this sense, supervision can be defined as a process of guiding the efforts of employees and other resources to accomplish the desired objectives. It means overseeing what is being done by subordinates and giving instructions to ensure optimum utilization of resources and achievement of work targets. As a function to be performed by supervisor, supervision is a managerial position in the organization hierarchy at the operative level, that is immediately above the worker. The functions and performance of the supervisor are vital to the organization because he is directly related with workers, whereas other managers have no direct touch with bottom level workers. Now, let us proceed to next element, which is motivation. Motivation means incitement or inducement to act or move. In the context of an organization, it means the process of making subordinates to act in a desired manner to achieve certain organizational goals. Motivation means a process of stimulating, inspiring and inducing the employees to perform to their best capacity. Motivation is a psychological term which means it cannot be forced on employees. It comes automatically from inside the employees as it is willingness to do the work. For better understanding, let us examine few interrelated terms which are motive. Number one is motive. A motive is an inner state or desire which energizes an individual to move or to behave towards achievement of goal. For example, motive to earn induces an individual to search for job or work. Individuals search for food to fulfill the motive of hunger. Second is motivation. It is a process of inducing people to perform to their best ability to accomplish the goal. And third is motivators. Motivators are the incentives or techniques used to motivate the people in an organization. Common motivators used by managers are increment, bonus, promotion, recognition, respect, etc. Now, let us proceed to next element which is leadership. Leadership is a process of influencing the behavior of people by making them strive voluntarily towards achievement of organizational goals. Leadership indicates the ability of an individual to maintain good interpersonal relations with followers and motivate them to contribute for achieving organizational objectives. Leadership is the art or process of influencing people so that they will strive willingly and enthusiastically towards the achievement of group goals. The following elements must be present in the leadership. First is, it is a process of influence. Second, the influence is always for achievement of common goal. And third, there must be minimum 2 or more persons present. Influencing your own behavior is not leadership. And last is, the influence should be to get the willing cooperation of the employees and not the forceful cooperation. Finally, let us discuss the last element which is communication. The word communication has been derived from the Latin word communis, which means common, which consequently implies common understanding. It is a process by which people create and share information with one another in order to reach common understanding. The common means and ways for transmission of ideas are spoken words, written words, diagrams, pictures or graphs and gestures. The communication is a two-way process as it begins with sender and ends when the feedback comes from the receiver to sender. Minimum 2 parties are involved in the process of communication, that is the sender and the receiver. That was the topic for today's session. I hope you all have understood it well. Before ending the session, let us have a quick recap of what we have learned today. We have learnt about concept of directing, features and importance of directing, and about 4 elements of directing which are supervision, motivation, leadership and communication. Now, time to get some home assignment. Your questions are: first, write about meaning, features and importance of directing, and second question is explain the elements of directing. I hope you all have understood today's session very well. With this, we have now come to the end of today's session. I hope you have enjoyed it. We will discuss these elements in detail in next session. Thank you very much. Happy learning.